Being Alive is the only organization in Los Angeles County run completely by and for people with HIV and AIDS. There is no charge to our members for any of our services.
What makes Being Alive different, you've probably heard it before, but I'm proud to say it again, is that it's the only organization in town that's of, by, and for people with HIV.
When I go to other organizations, you go and say hello to the window, and they want your name and they want your zip code, because that counts for funding, you know. And that's what I love about Being Alive. There's no things where you can have to sign your name. There's no places where you can, because you're not counting as a number. You're a human being, you're a person with AIDS, and that's the difference. And I'm getting chills all over my body.
Other organizations, they tend to be so big, you tend to get lost in the shuffle.
We at Being Alive, who are living with HIV and AIDS, are the experts.
There's not a lot of funding for organizations like Being Alive. There's very few people here who are on salary. Almost the entire staff of everyone here is voluntary.
Being Alive has 6 staff people.
How important is it to be with other people who have HIV? It is very, very important because they understand.
We have 100 active volunteers.
My name is Charles. I'm a peer counselor here at Being Alive.
One-on-one peer counseling is a program where a person who has HIV can come in and talk one-on-one in confidence with another person who's been there. We always have peer counselors on staff, and they're available by phone or in person.
Well, you're not sick, you're HIV positive, right? We not only speak to people that have HIV infection, we speak to their family members. We get calls from all over the country.
We have support groups for people who are positive. We have support groups for the negative partner. We have support groups for the caregivers. We have support groups for the families and friends.
Support groups, to me, are important because so many people have no place to come and actually open up and talk.
My T cells went up 100, over 100 over in a month's time. And so I think my T cells are probably about 200. And I'm coming from a place where they were like, for 2 years, my T cells were about 10. They were about 10 for about, so it's pretty, pretty remarkable,
If your T cell count goes over 200, are you still classified as having AIDS?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. The Sunday socials are much more than a party. To me, it's like a big support group.
Our mission is to avoid isolation. We have found time and time again that those who shut themselves off from the rest of the world die much quicker.
Some days I just want to stay home and I don't want to do anything.
Right now, mainly the people who are coming are people who are very disenfranchised, who have nowhere else to go. They have no money, they don't fit into the system, they're outcasts.
I feel very, very overwhelmed, and there are some days I wish it was all over.
We have our social events once a week here on Sundays at Being Alive, and for many of the people in attendance, it's the only hot meal or the only food they receive over the whole weekend.
Being Alive helps me with that frustration in that it takes my mind off of myself.
Our medical updates are once-a-month forums where our medical advisor presents the latest in treatment information and the findings of clinical trials and presents it in a very easy-to-understand format.
How many of you are sitting here right now more frightened than you were when you came in here this morning? Please tell the truth and just raise your hand.
They made me question how my physician is treating me.
I felt depressed at the conference. Due to all the drugs that are on the market, you really don't know which ones to take. There are so many things to learn.
We provide AIDS treatment information through our 3 international newsletters: the monthly Being Alive newsletter, Ecos Femeninos, the only Spanish language newsletter written exclusively for women, and the quarterly Women Alive, one of only 3 newsletters in the world written by and for women with HIV and AIDS. We recently opened our own homepage on the internet where people can access our Being Alive newsletter, our Women Alive newsletter.
At this homepage, hopefully Women Alive's message will reach women around the world.
I'm not really political. I hate that, but I've realized that HIV and AIDS is very political.
Being Alive gives us the ability to shape the community, to go up to Congress, to go to the county commission. And
making sure that our elected officials know who we are and what we need.
Being Alive is committed to all sorts of political action, such as insisting that drug companies reduce their prices.
I spend almost $3,000 a month on prescription medications to stay alive.
We know that Western medicine hasn't found the answer. They don't have the cure. The cure does not exist, despite what the newspapers are saying about protease inhibitors.
Being Alive had identified that one of the needs in the community were access to alternative treatments, especially those that were not covered by traditional insurance plans.
There are some preliminary studies that indicate that spinal manipulation has a positive effect on stimulating the immune system.
We identified acupuncturists, massage therapists, and chiropractors in Los Angeles County who donate their time.
The massage and chiropractic services are primarily volunteer.
For years, I had been encouraged to try acupuncture, but I couldn't afford it. And I had a friend who told me about Women's Being Alive, that they had an acupuncturist there and it was free.
It's just the quality of life improves, and now I've been doing this for about, I believe, 4 months, and now I'm seeing the T cells are going up consistently and the ratios are going up consistently for all the patients across the board.
Having HIV puts you under a stress factor that's almost unbearable. You are always aware that you are on the edge of life, that at any moment something could go wrong and your life could be in jeopardy.
When a person can actively do something that enhances their life or makes a difference in their health, then Being Alive supports it.
The difference of being a woman with HIV or AIDS is this, right here. You know, kids, right here. The husband.
Being Alive has the only hotline that is specifically for women and answered only by women who are HIV infected.
It does get better. Are you healthy? You feel okay?
It's just amazing to speak to women in other parts of the country where services are simply not available.
It's just a virus. It's not a character defect.
I went for 8 years after my HIV diagnosis without attending a support group.
Women are more likely to become infected than to infect others.
As that layer came off, I discovered that I had 8 years of thoughts and feelings and emotions that had gone unexpressed.
I can barely remember what my life was like before AIDS, but I know that I would love to be there again, you know, without having to worry about living a double life. I don't live a double life anymore, but it was also a mistake when I let my work know that I was HIV positive. They couldn't get me out of that place fast enough.
There's a tremendous supportive interplay between support group members. It's an energy dynamic.
But you don't have no power over what you know, you don't have, the power is this present time. The power is this moment. The power is the gratefulness to believe that right now, I'm doing what God would have me to do. Right now, I'm strong. Right now, I'm real. You know, in a few minutes, girl, I might just drop off, bam.
I've lost track of how many people I've lost to AIDS. I've lost a lot.
My husband died June 29th of 1995.
A bereavement group is a group that's for those of our members who are dealing with a loss.
One of the most important things that we do in the bereavement group is to help people who are dying to recognize what their own losses are and how to be in their own lives as they're dying.
It's so painful to talk about
having AIDS and possibly dying to your children as a mother. I mean, my whole life has been protecting my children.
Often we have people in the group whose loved ones have died.
Dignity, I don't think he had any dignity left when he died. How can you if you're 65 pounds?
Patrick is my best friend.
I really pick and choose my funerals carefully now because they're just too devastating.
He made me promise him that if he ever got to a point that he could no longer, if he was going to be a burden on anyone, that I would help him in his own life.
I think something that's common in the AIDS community is what we call serial grief.
His mom was having to do things like, wipe his butt, give him water, and spoon feed him. And that was the point when he said, it's time to go.
Because we keep losing people at such a fast rate that you don't get over the grief of one person before somebody else gets sick and dies.
Being the sole survivor of something like this is a very lonely place to be.
For people who think that HIV is a disease for drug addicts and people who live on the street and homosexuals, I want them to look in the mirror and think again.
There's going to be such an epidemic in this country, and we will not be prepared because we decided it was not a disease that nice people get.
The world of AIDS is changing. Perhaps. The new drugs seem to be working. Maybe. We hope. For some, these drugs are too late or too toxic. It's funny. The doctors always say, you're failing on the new drugs. They never say, the drugs are failing you. As Being Alive moves to the future, it does so with a bit of healthy skepticism, but also with hope. Remembering those who died, but also looking forward to a time when we'll be an organization that responds to the needs of men and women being alive with HIV and AIDS. Being alive.